Everybody say hi to Wendy.
Yeah, I'm still trying to get a hang of this.
Well, I think you're gonna be just fine. What are you wearing? As usual, you have to tell everybody.
This is YSL, obviously, just to stay in theme, kind of.
Yeah.
And this was what Kate Moss wore to the Met Gala, I think maybe 2 or 3 years ago. So I thought, well, since the Met Gala didn't happen this year, and it's still part of YSL team, and why not? And just give me a chance to take the clothes out from the closet to wear it. Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity to play dress up.
You're still keeping in character. You're still keeping your face a little bit concealed.
Yeah, I thought why not as well, just for the fun of it.
Hey, it's Friday, 5 o'clock. It's happy hour. It is a good time. Everyone's gonna sneak into dinner soon. I guess we can start our little.
Yeah, our little cocktail.
Yeah. I know you have some cocktails on your site too. Thanks so much for the customized female homies cocktail.
No problem. Let me just flip it. So yes, I customized female homie Midori, which I haven't had in a long time. Oh, and this just came in from my friend Fiona. She just from Kiki Reserve. So I mean, perfect. Look at that. Even the colors matches. But this is what I like to do in pre-COVID times, before we are all stuck at home. I do like having parties at home. So all this like table setting that you see isn't something that I just started now. But of course now I have a little bit more time, because what else can you do being stuck at home? So I've always liked having parties at home. So something that I love doing is a personalization, customization, just to make it a little bit more fun, and just to add a little bit of your own spin on it. At first I was thinking, should I go for something like really what they call like, oh, a more sophisticated drink, like a whiskey base, a gin, but I was like, no, I just want to stay true to what I really like to drink. I really like a sweet, fruity, like almost like a fruit punch kind of a cocktail, and that's why I chose a rum base, because it reminds me of when I had my party last year at Spago. My welcome drink was peace on earth, which is a rum base and coconut and a little bit of passion fruit and pineapple, which is what rum is. If you try that, that's what it will taste like. And Midori was because, well, this is really going to show my age, but if you remember years ago, Mandarin Orchard Hotel, there used to be a restaurant at the top called Top of the M. It's a revolving Chinese restaurant, and there was a bar just below. And when I was in university, I used to go there for drinks because I thought it has the most amazing view of Orchard Road. And that's why I started drinking Midori. It reminded me of a melon, like a honeydew. It is a melon-based Japanese
Quite nostalgic,
cocktail.
put it that way.
Yes, I never had it in a long time since, and I thought, why not? And the Bespoke is a Japanese cocktail place, so I thought, kind of fitting, right? Like to get a Japanese bartender to do a Japanese cocktail with Midori. And I also found out that like it wasn't called Midori when it was started in Japan a long time ago. I forgot what it was called, but what I remember was it was changed to Midori when they tried to launch it in the US. And the launch party back in the 70s was at Studio 54. So I was like, oh, there you go. It's actually quite a fun cocktail, but people just kind of like forgot about Midori. So pick your poison. Are you going to go for rum or Midori?
Pick my poison. I
I
don't know.
might
Like,
go for the Midori, only because I haven't had it since, I don't know, 1990.
I think to open it.
Sorry.
How
Oh, sorry.
about the glassware?
Oh, yes, that's right. So these I got in Paris last year.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually a collaboration between YSL and
Crazy.
Baccarat.
It's
And I
super
just thought it's kind of cute. Like, I love collaborations, and you could only get it in the Ridois store. So I got this from the store as well. The
These are all
so
special items. That's a speaker, right?
yes, that's a speaker.
Pepper shaker, guys. I know all these items were specially released when the Ridois store opened in Paris.
Yes.
And I guess it's quite surprising. Everyone knows what Saint Laurent does, but like Homeware, it does seem very, very Saint Laurent, the crystal glasses.
Right, it is, and it's actually, they did it with Baccarat, and this is it's nothing new. It's just a collaboration which they did, and I thought it was just so cute, you know, and the coasters as well. It's very Saint Laurent, and this is what I like when a fashion brand do something else besides what they're known for. So it, you know, it's branching out to lifestyle products, but yet you could still see the DNA of the brand. Like
It
it's
is.
still very Saint Laurent. Like and even this tea like holders, mugger. I mean, it does feel very Saint Laurent, right? I guess.
It reflects the store design. If people, you know, if everyone can remember what a Saint Laurent store looks like, a lot of marble, very.
Yes, a lot of metal as well. Like you see, this is metal, leather, a lot of black.
I see the coasters behind though, the woven ones.
Yes, these are Bottega, which I got many years ago. I don't have many Bottega ready to wear in just a few bags. But what I really like about the Bottega is the homeware, believe it or not. So I got this, and then the table as well is Bottega, and about that table as well. So this is what, and you know, it's very subtle, but you could still tell it's Bottega from the signature weave. And this is what I like about a brand extension, where you still retain the DNA of the brand, but yet you spin it in another product, and it doesn't look like they're doing homeware for the sake of doing homeware, where it looks random, like oh, completely out of the blue, but it actually gels in perfectly well with everything else. So I think that's what beautiful branding and, you know, paying homage to a brand's DNA is all about.
Have you always been very into homeware? And maybe we can start looking into your entire collection, because even that napkin with, you know, the lip motif, you, but it's homeware, you know.
It is. So I've always liked homeware, and but I mean, let's just, you know, we take a walk as we talk. I just lay out. Oh, we have the same cake. I try to like be a little bit matchy by having the same cake.
Thank you.
It's customized as well. The cake. The reason why I got the cake was because what I wanted to say was to introduce the tea set. So yes, I've always been interested in homeware, and you know, when I travel, I like picking up random odd pieces. You know how sometimes when you travel, you see like it could be a tea light holder or a napkin ring or something. Oh, I'm not sure about most people, but at least for me, I generally really do like, you know, getting stuff like that. And over the, of course, like, you know, as you get older, when you have your own place, it's like a different chapter of your life. And so as you started getting your own place, then you started wanting to do up your house. And after you do your house, you want to invite people over. So what started out first, and I believe that because homeware takes up a lot of space, you know, we're talking about, you can't just have like one, because sometimes you need minimum like 4, because if you have guests over, you need kind of like a set, right? So can you imagine if each design you get like 4 of one style, and then times the number of different like bowls, plates, and everything. We're talking about many pieces, so we're talking about a lot of space required. So over the years, I've learned to not be so quick to just make an impulse purchase and really think through, because I have to think about where am I going to store the pieces, because it does take up space. So after a while, I decided, okay, decide on one style that you really like and which will be your main piece, something that you will use for as many different occasions as possible. I guess it's not so much different from fashion, right? Where when you make that one investment piece, say for example, that one designer bag, well, we always tell ourselves we get that one bag and it will be the one bag ever and you will not get something else, but we know that never happens. You will still end up getting something else. But the first purchase is always something that you tell yourself, oh, you want something that is versatile and that is timeless. So I guess it's no different from getting a homeware, picking that one piece that you think will be the most versatile and something that you like enough to want to build on. Like I started out with wanting only to collect this as a tea set, the classic mosaic range. And the reason why I chose for the platinum color was because it matches my table. Again, you know, color coordination, I guess it's no different from fashion. Like that's the reason why people go for a black bag or a little black dress, because it matches most stuff. So I guess that's the same. This was originally meant to be a tea set, meaning that I wasn't thinking of buying like the soup plates, the dinner plates, the charger and everything.
Yeah.
Then, and this was the H Deco collection was supposed to be my main dining set, like and how it started really. Oh, and this is what you see here is in the past, whenever I hope we can get back to having house parties as soon as possible, because I really do miss having friends over. This is what I call the standard SOP. Like even I always use the same caterer because I can't cook. I wish I could cook. That's one of the reasons why I order in so much, because I cannot cook. So I get a caterer in who will cook, and all I do is just set up the table. So this became like my standard. If I have guests for like a sit down of 8, like my table can feed like 8 people. This will be what I will have. So they know already, like, okay, take this out. This will be the charger. I mean, not charger, like the placemat, and then the drinks will be there, and then things like that. So it's like standard. So I always like little place cut holders to do sitting arrangement. Oh, you'll be surprised. Sitting arrangement actually is a big headache, because you have to think about who will get along with who, if there are new people in the crowd and everything. So sometimes I spend a lot of time planning sitting arrangement. So this is like my standard set. Sorry?
You say that there's an SOP and that's your standard set. Maybe we can see what exactly makes up your standard set. So if people want to create, it's quite a safe set to have. I see like a bowl,
Yeah. So this is the dining plate decor. They actually also have the charger. I didn't bring everything up because, as you can see, I'm running out of space as well. So this is like the standard, what they call the dinner plate, which I think is the basic, for the main course, so to speak. And then the second one that you see, they call it the dessert plate, but it's big enough as a starter plate, really, that sometimes I use. And they call it a rice bowl, which I guess you can use for any soup, because not all collections will have everything. Like for example, they don't really have a soup plate like this for this collection, so I guess it really depends. Different collection have different kind of like style in terms of the tableware. And this is the bread and butter bread plate, they call it, which I guess you can use for canapes. I use that for canapes or for anything really. Actually, that's the beauty of tableware. Do not pigeonhole it into what you think it's supposed to be, because it can be anything. Like for example, I always think that getting a big platter is very useful, because sometimes it could be like a whole chicken or a steak, or sometimes just if you're not cooking or not having a dinner, if you're just having say a cocktail party with friends, you could put like cocoas or cheese or whatever, or chips in the big bowl. It's a salad bowl, but I guess you can put anything in it really. And this they call it a coaster, but I use it for just about anything. You can put like some chocolates, even petite fours. So I guess this is what you mean by a more complete set, meaning that you have the main serveware, and you also have the different sizes for different types of courses, whether it's starter, appetizer, main course, soup, things like that. And I went for black and white because I just feel like, I mean, ideally, in the ideal perfect world, I would have one of each color. But unfortunately, I don't have that luxury. So I have to decide on something that can go the extra mile. So I went for the most practical. That means black and white, and that can match with as many different style and as many different cuisine as possible.
When we were chatting, you said people are going to buy, a nice set of Chinaware, and it is an investment at VOD. Pick one. It's like clothes. You do need to pick one that's versatile. You mentioned, something that could suit all cuisines, which is an interesting perspective when it comes. I don't really think about that when it comes to homeware for obvious reasons, but about how it is important to get pieces, just like in when you're shopping for clothes, getting pieces that can go with as many cuisines as possible.
Yeah, I mean, just for example, I give you an example. Like this is what I call is my rigid jewelry set that I use for Chinese food. Not very often, because Chinese food is something that I don't think you can really cater at home, because I mean, how are you going to do the wok here, right? Unless you go to the wok and like the big fire, open fire, which unfortunately I don't have in a small apartment. So it's very difficult to have like proper Chinese food at home, I feel. But sometimes you might want to have some like Oriental stuff, and I just feel like this set is clearly like a Chinese, and it's made for it. That is why they have chopstick holders and the sauce for like your soy sauce, which, well, I'm not saying you cannot use this for Western. It's all about being creative. I'm sure you can, but you can see how it's not as versatile, right? It's clearly catered for Chinese cuisine, and this is what I mean by, so if this is your main set, then I think it can be a little bit less versatile.
It's a
Not saying
really
that you
good.
can't, but yeah, and the colors as well. I mean, it's pink, and what if you have something that is like orangey or what? Like, how you
Well,
would it clash? Does it matter? I don't know, but for me, I do think about things like that.
to its left, there's a set of cabbage.
Oh yes, so I recently just got this. I blame it on COVID again because I have been tapaoing so often, and I have been eating in almost practically every day. So I've always wanted like a cabbage lettuce shaped kind of a tableware. Don't ask me why. Like, things like that, which I really love.
Mm-hmm.
Because something like that, you don't use, I wouldn't really call it like every day. It's more like rustic country style. But it's
Yeah.
nice to have when you have a certain theme that you want to use. So this is what I mean by building on to your basic set. So you already covered your basic dining set, which you use for as many different meals as possible. But occasionally you want that fun piece,
With the
which I guess this is the fun piece, I guess. And you take your time to look for it because I, I think the beauty of tableware is you to take your time to build. And sometimes you will only know what you need as you go along. Like for
hmm
example, I never knew I needed this, even though I feel like I should have this in my life. But I never knew I needed one too. Now, when I suddenly started ordering from all kinds of different cuisine, and I was thinking, oh, how nice if I have like a banana leaf for my barbecue stingray. I know it sounds really weird, but why not, right? Sometimes you just have a bit of fun with.
if you're gifting something and you want to gift homeware, you want to maybe you could share people a bit of that tip because guys, not sure if you've ever thought about it, but it's actually not easy to gift someone homeware or Chinaware as lovely an idea as that is.
Yeah, so I mean, speaking from experience, so what happened was, so this is a set also from America's Day Other collection, which I never thought of getting before, only because it's so elaborate. I just feel like it's one of those that it looks nicer in the cabinet than actually eating instant noodles out of, because it's just so elaborate. I'm like, oh my God, like why be
So
doing it a disservice if I put something really simple on it because it just looks so ornate, right? So, but what started off with what I actually started receiving as a gift first, like a
mm-hmm.
square plate. Different side of a very dear friend of mine gave me the plates, and I was like, okay, now what am I going to do with one square plate? And slowly I thought, why don't I start building on it? And that's when I realized it's good. So it's a good thing that he got me a square one. Then it's easy
Okay.
for me to build because then I realized that this will be a nice standalone piece. So I guess when you buy something for people as a homeware, it's because you do not know what they already have. And if you do
Mm-hmm.
not know what they already have, if you
Oh
just
no.
get, say for example, if I just get one random dinner plate, then we're like, what is a person going to do? If let's say they have a dinner plate for this range, and you give a dinner plate of this, it'd be like, oh, what am I going to do with one or two of that? Then they will have to start building on it. But if it's a standalone piece like a platter or a bowl or a square, it can even be a change tray. It can be anything. So I guess getting like the unique one of standalone pieces, if you do not know what they already have, is a
Mm-hmm.
good way to start. But if you already know what they have, then perfect. Then you help them build their collection. Like also, the same dear friend, he knew this is my collection. So every now and then he would get from this collection to build on it because they know what you already have. So it's just helping you build on it, which is a great way as well. But if you do not know, say you're going to someone's house for the first time and you do not know what they already have, then I guess like a nice square standalone piece which they can match with anything. They can match with basic white plates will be easy for anyone to incorporate into the existing collection. And thank goodness he started me on this journey. That's why now I started slowly building on it as well. So this is not my main one because there's the black and white one, but this became my occasion wear, like for Chinese New Year and for something more special. I like it. So, well, thank you, Terrence, for helping me get started on this journey. So that's what I mean by you build on a collection. Along the way, you will start noticing what you need. That's when I realized that, oh, actually, if I start having small canapé plates, then
Mm-hmm.
when I have friends over, I might need a big serving one to put the sharing stuff on, like, maybe a tart or something. Then that's when I went to get this to match what I already have based on my needs. Along the way, I discover what I actually need through using it. That's why you have to use it to know whether how are you going to use it, and whether it's something that you will want to build on. So I guess
Well,
homeware has to be used. That's very important as well.
yeah, I think your pieces are incredible. Some people really might think twice about using. Some people might see it as display. Some people, like you said, do I want to put something on it? Um, but it is an everyday object at the end of the day, right?
Yes, I feel like the best thing you can do to tableware is to really use it. It's no different from fashion
Okay.
because you know things it is very beautiful, but I would rather use something really nice and accidentally have it broken than have it perfectly in perfect condition but never been used before, because then it becomes just something for display. Then you know it's like it's no different from seeing it being displayed in the store, right? I guess. But if I have used it and it was accidentally broken during one of the drunken nights when people were having so much fun that they accidentally drop it, at least it's something that you can remember and there's a story to it. Like, oh yeah,
You wore that wonderful feathered Saint Laurent dress, and you're like, I'm just gonna drink champagne in it, and it'll be fine. You might as well make use of something that you've paid so much money for, right?
exactly. And I feel like the easiest way to make sure, I mean, initially I was very reluctant to start using it as well because I was afraid of, having scratches on it and everything. But later on, I realized that if I treat it so precious by always keeping it in the box and high above on the shelf, I will never use it because it's just so it's so inconvenient to take it out. And, no one is going to climb a stool to reach for that plate because they want to put some cheese on it. But if you have it within easy access, you will use it because it's convenient. And I guess that is the key, to keep making it convenient to access to, and that's when you will start incorporating it into your actual day-to-day um, usage, and then and soon you will start realizing that it's not something that is only for special occasions. You can just take it out and use whenever you want to, and I feel that's the best thing you can do to a tableware. It's like vintage stuff, right? Sometimes it adds character to, like, leather as well. Leather looks better when it's worn with scratches, and it looks like it has been used. And sometimes there's a beauty in that, and I feel that's the way tableware should be. It should always have stories like fashion.
Wendy, you were planning to, I see, is that some Gucci homeware on my left? I assume,
Yes,
yeah.
it is. A brand can incorporate the DNA into brand extension, product extension. So yeah, we're all familiar with the ready to wear, the accessories. Then they started doing homeware, and they even have their own Gucci restaurant, which I feel is a brilliant way to not only get existing clients to learn more about a brand, but it could be a new introduction to new people who probably before that would never have thought much about the brand. Like, truth be told, I have a few Gucci pieces ready to wear, but not that many. I mean, not as many as YSL pieces. But when I saw the homeware, I was attracted to it. So, you know, the brand attracted me to their story through an unconventional way, not through accessories or beauty products or ready to wear, but actually through homeware. Who would have thought? But actually it did. And then now, maybe because I've gotten acquainted with their homeware, I might start looking at their other products. And I guess that's how big houses should move towards, by having expansion of what they already have and not pigeonholing themselves to what
That's very,
people think of them. Right?
after this, like, maybe more and more brands will go into homeware.
Yeah,
Not
because we're all spending so much time at home right now. It makes perfect sense, right? Because everyone is just spending almost all the time at home, and you will probably want and we're all dining in all the time now. So I guess I wouldn't be surprised if people start paying more attention to homeware.
you have a few more sets from other fashion houses. Would you like to, might they be out for us to have a
Yes,
peek from brands that people might be surprised to associate with, might not associate you with?
Yeah, okay. Like if you can see here, because I've already ordered my dinner for tonight. I ordered the tagine set from Poland. When I saw they had a Moroccan set, I was like, perfect, because I had the tableware for it and I couldn't wait to use it. I was just waiting for the perfect meal. So
Okay.
Poland answered my prayers when they came out with a tagine, but they don't sell the tagine with the takeaway, so I had to get my own tagine, which I did because
That
I
is
don't know
very
why.
cool
Maybe I'm crazy.
to go
So
with her. Oh,
yeah, like so this is actually Brunello Cucciolini.
wow,
Like I
gosh.
I don't I don't own any of their signature cashmere sweaters or anything, because
Mm-hmm.
their style is very understated. It's not really me. But as you can see, the tableware, but the tableware appeals to me because when I look at it, I was like, oh, that's very rustic, very Tuscan in a way, right? And you can see the details. Like, so I guess it's like the brand. They're all about minimalism, very subtle, but it's all in the details and in the it's all about like paying attention to it's actually good quality, like handmade and everything, like their fashion pieces, but it's not in your face. And so surprisingly, I don't own any of their fashion pieces or bags or anything. My first introduction to them
Brunello.
is actually through the tableware because I for some reason it caught my eye and I really like it. And I feel like it is something very different from what I already have. And this is what I mean by building on your collection. This is not my main collection. This is like an add-on, but it's fun to have. And I did not start out with getting this thinking that, oh, I need this to add on to my main collection. It just happened organically because I was just like, oh, it would be nice to then have something else. It's not even for fashion, right? You start out with your little black dresses. You start out with your maybe your classic designer handbag. It could be the Chanel 2.55 or whichever bag that you fancy. And once you collected your investment pieces, you start buying that one off, you know, oh, maybe I will get that cute little clutch, that Judy Liver clutch, for example, that I can only use when I go to dinner. But it's not my everyday bag, but it's something fun to have. And I guess it's no different
For
from
home, for
tableware. Like, I mean, look at this. It's a tagine. When will I ever use a tagine again? I don't know. Seriously, after tonight's lamb leg dinner, maybe the next time I might use it to put vegetables. Who knows? But see, it's the thing. You decide later. And I would not, when I start thinking about homeware, this wouldn't be the first thing I thought of. Like, it'd be
Wendy,
crazy if it was the first thing.
how about the
Sorry?
table?
Oh,
Really, really. Where did you get that from?
oh, you see, interestingly, I got it from Matches Fashion website.
Oh,
Oh, they have incredible homeware section, by the way. A lot of the stuff I got from there. So I was just browsing through it, and I think Moda Operandi carries this as well. And when I saw it, I really didn't know what I was going to do with it, but I just like it. Like, I said, this will look good for when I have a Lebanese or Middle Eastern kind of cuisine, which at the time when I bought it, I have no idea when I'll be having such food, but I just thought it's nice to have. And I got it, and along the way, I found the tableware, I found a napkin, so, and it all came together
like an
after a
out.
while. Like an outfit, exactly. Like you may not have like the complete look at one go, but along the way you build on it as you go along. So this is exactly how I feel about tableware as I go along. Like I wouldn't think of, or at least for me, of getting like mustard yellow napkins, right? Like why would that wouldn't be the first thing I think of if I'm going to get my first table napkin ever. So, but along the way, after getting like your basic whites and your primary colors, you'd be like, maybe I need to add a pop of color. No different from fashion. You get your basic black, white, gray. Then you might venture out to getting, oh, maybe I will get that turquoise crop top or that lilac shorts, things like that.
Wendy, we want to see your lovely face and your lovely outfit
Oh,
one more.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's those were very good points. At the end of the day, it's actually about being creative and mixing and matching, not unlike how one could,
Yes. Not like
right?
unlike fashion. It's about mixing and matching. Like, I mean, just to give you an example of mixing and matching as well, which I put it out here because I was hoping later on the weather would get better. And like a very good friend of mine gave me this as a gift. It's actually a
Uh-huh.
hamper box. What I was going to do is I was going to put something inside, so it's like a treasure chest, and it becomes an accessory for the dinner setting. So I was gonna put like the coffee cups and or anything, or maybe even a champagne bottle. But I didn't do it now only because it's raining. So I just
Get so many wonderful tips. I'm sure that this whole staying home, staying in period has it's coming even more handy now that we're spending so much time at home, and actually a lot of us are just spending more time and effort eating maybe.
yes, I mean, like I know people who love cooking, they spend a lot of time thinking about what to cook. But trust me, just because you're not cooking and you're ordering in is also very stressful. Every day I have to think about what to order. I like what to order for breakfast. No, not breakfast. I don't really have breakfast. What to order for lunch, for dinner, and just like when you cook something, you be like, oh, I already done pasta on Wednesday. Should I still do pasta on Sunday? Same thing. Oh, I've ordered a, a sandwich on Monday. Maybe I want to order something else on Wednesday. Exactly the same. It's no different from fashion. Like, oh, I've worn that dress last week. I should wear some. I shouldn't repeat.
You
So
should
I guess food and fashion, who would have known, is actually not much
share it.
different. The same thought process goes into it. Yeah.
It kind of separates a weekday from a weekend.
Yes, which I think is very important. I mean, I've quite a few people tell me that, oh wow, it's good to see that you can be bothered to set a table, even though it's just for two people and it's not like a party. And true, it's true. Initially, I thought I was crazy, and I still think I'm crazy. Sometimes I question my sanity as well. Like, what am I doing? With a tajin right now. We are like Groundhog Day, right? Monday to Sunday is almost the same, and I feel like why do we stop demarcating weekends and weekdays just because we're at home? Just like pre-COVID, you would plan on a nice dinner on a Friday or a Saturday, or you plan Sunday brunch because it's a weekend. But
Hmm.
now that we are at home, we don't really do that. But I said, why not? Fridays and Saturdays, I try to be as normal as possible, like before, by pre-order. Sometimes I pre-order my meals. Like, I want something nicer on Fridays because it's the weekend. Just like you will make a restaurant reservation for a Friday night date night dinner. So instead of making a restaurant reservation, you pre-order a takeaway. Does that make sense? But I guess I just do not want things to be so monotonous. So I try to like still remind myself of what life was like before this. And
Very
that's why
important.
I set the table as well. Because when you go to a nice restaurant, it will be nicely set. And it's the same food. It's just that it's at your house. So why not honor the food, the effort that went into preparing it, and it's a nice place and it's a nice occasion, it's a Friday night, by setting the table to make it feel special. Like something to look forward to. Like you look forward to that dinner date on a Friday, right? Why not look forward to that nice takeaway that you ordered for Friday night or Saturday night? I think it's the same.
Wonderful life tips from the wonderful Wendy Long. We it's always such a delight talking to you because yeah, you've got all these nice things, but what you're sharing about them, your perspective of them, actually can be applied to everybody and to everything. It's about having fun, it's about not being precious, using things that you bother spending on, um,
Yeah.
and yeah, making the most. Staying in and staying home can still be very, very fulfilling,
Yes.
right?
And if you haven't found any fulfillment in there, I guess it's about time to start because this is going to last for quite a while. So we might as well start now because otherwise,
That's gonna
it's a long journey. Well, from the sound of it, I think it's going to take us to the third quarter of the year, I think. Yeah, so there will be
well
a
with.
lot more dining in, a lot more ordering in, and well, make the most out of it because it's the only thing that you have right now.
I didn't get a chance to open it, but I will now. Thanks so much for the cocktail, and I'm gonna show them the strawberry cake as well. And have a wonderful weekend, Wendy. I'll
Most
catch
welcome. You too. And well, it's been a joy. And thank you for thinking of me in general
you.
because,
Have
I'm not a professional or anything. I'm just sharing, like, just my
the
2 cents worth or 20 cents worth. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Wendy. Talk to you soon.
Talk to
Have a
you
good
soon.
evening.
Bye. You too.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.